So what's up, everybody? I'm going to just move this chat thing out of the way for a second. We got a packed house. I'm excited. So we had this idea of doing this webinar, and I'm going to tell you all about it in a second, but I want you to stick around until the end of the webinar, because not only will you be able to ask us questions, well, ask Alex and Sarah questions. I don't really know that much. Alex and Sarah can give you Andy from Vidyard. What's up, Andy? We love Vidyard. We have an amazing offer that we're going to do. We love doing offers at the end of webinars. This is one that we just came up with this morning, and I promise you it's going to be worth your time, and it's going to be amazing. So stick around to the end. We'll tell you about the offer, how to get it. It's only available for 24 hours, so you got to stick around today and then act right away. And then we'll do Q&A at the end. So let me dive in. I'm going to hit present here. I want to make sure our cameras are on. So here's the deal. We had this idea about a week ago. We were like, wait a second, we have this amazing, we're very lucky as a team at Drift in that, like, we dog food our own product. We use our own product at Drift for all of our marketing and our sales team too. And we get questions about, whether it's no forms or conversational marketing, we get questions about that stuff all day long. And so we had this idea of like, look, we're not really shy about sharing what we do at Drift. If you listen to our podcast or read our blog or you get our emails, we kind of share just about everything that we're doing in marketing. And so we figured, why not get the crew together and actually do a webinar where we give away some of our best secrets. And so I'm super lucky to have Alex and Sarah with us today. Alex is on the marketing team at Drift, and she owns webinars, email, a bunch of other programs in marketing. And Sarah owns Drift on Drift, which is a unique role we created just for her, where she owns our Drift product and uses it on our website and also social media. And so we're tapping into them. I'm just going to kind of play host. We got a bunch of stuff we're going to share from them. And so that's what we're going to cover. We'll get to Q&A at the end. But with that said, I'm going to kick it over to Alex. And Alex is going to start with email. And she's going to talk about how we do email at Drift. And it's a little bit different than it's kind of been at most other companies. So Alex, I'll kick it over. I'll kick it over to you. Maybe I can pass the presenter over to you.
You can drive the slides, Dave.
Okay, I'll drive the slides. All right. I'll drive the slides, I promise. So, So hit me. Tell me about the anatomy of a Drift email.
So to back up on kind of what Dave mentioned, I've worked at a couple of different companies and I've done email marketing for them. And I think that the way that we do email at Drift, it is very different. Like you said, like you saw on the previous slide, we focus on replies. And I think that's something very different. A lot of email marketers, when they think about their metrics, they're looking at open rates and subscribes, clicks. They're not really thinking of, okay, how many people are replying to this email? And that is because in our eyes and in everyone's eyes, like, you're not going to have a sale until you have a conversation. So you need that reply. And that's like a great sign that someone wants to engage with you. And you should be using that and jumping off of there. Dave, I don't see your slides anymore. Tough.
One second. I can
talk to it.
My swipe. Here we go. Here it comes.
Okay,
we're back.
So I'm just going to walk through kind of how we structure our emails to get these replies, since we think that that is so important and such a big metric that we track. So the first thing that you'll see on this email on the right, so this was an invite to one of our webinars earlier this month, and it was marketing versus growth. And this kind of follows a very similar structure to a ton of our emails. So you'll see the first thing, it's plain text. And I think some of you are going to be like, wait, that's not plain text, because there's like an image and there's links. Like, this is our version of plain text, and this is why we do it. We want to focus on the copy and make sure it's something gripping. I think when you have a really formatted email, sometimes you get a little too hung up on that. And obviously, like, the copy is what people are reading this for and what they want to see. So that's something that's different, but is kind of across all of our emails, what we do.
I think the other thing that's like, that to me, the plain text thing is also about like something, and this might just be a style that we developed at Drift or personally how we feel, but like, there's this great analogy that I love from this copywriter, Gary Halbert, and he talks about how everybody has an A pile and a B pile mentally. And he says, like, okay, you come home from work and you go take out the mail from your mailbox and you get this big stack of mail. And what do we all immediately do? We start putting the Home Depot and the Bed Bath & Beyond flyers, and we put them over here. And then we pull out like the white envelope with a handwritten name on it that says like, hey, Alex. And like, that's from your aunt that always sends you $20 on your birthday. And so like, we want to get our stuff in the A pile. And maybe over time, when a million companies are doing this, like, it doesn't work that way. But for now, I think it's something about like, something goes off in my head, at least as a person. I know Alex and Sarah, if you guys feel the same way, like, as a person, when I get a highly designed HTML email, like I just know that this is from a brand and they're trying to sell me something, versus I think our emails really feel like they're personal. And that's the goal, is that we want you to feel like you're writing an email to me as a person, not a marketing email blast.
Right. Yeah. And I think some companies do it really well. Like Envision, I really like their formatted emails, but yeah, for us, and I don't know, as an email marketer, I'm sure some of you guys have done this too. Like you do that A/B test where you're testing between a plain text and HTML. And for me, every time I did it, the plain text won, but for some reason there was always this voice that was like, but I have to go back to HTML. But why do that? Like if you keep on getting results that plain text are the way, like that's the way to go. Keep on, run with that. So the second main thing is that it comes from a real person. This is me, that email address, arfeo@drift.com. Like that's my main email address. If you reply to my marketing email, it goes the same place if Dave or Sarah send me an email. And that makes it just so that I treat those replies the same as I would treat every other email. And that's really important, but something also really different. I think a ton of companies have like marketing@company.com and different kind of those general aliases.
Do you actually reply? I know you're going to talk about this later, but do you actually reply?
Of course. That's part of my job.
It is.
You have to say it.
We talked about that. It's like you have to, if we're going to do it this way, you have to actually reply. Like we can't just talk about being set up for replies. You have to actually be there to actually reply yourself. Yeah. I think a lot of people will say like, oh, that's not like, who's going to spend their time doing that? Like, Alex is busy. But I think the answer is like, those are the people that you should be replying to. Somebody who cares enough about getting your marketing emails that they're willing to actually reply to you personally. Like that's who should be responding.
Yeah. And there's gold in there too. I have an example at the end, but like you will get gold. You will get out of offices and things, but like it's worth it for those gold. And then subject line. I think everyone knows subject line is important, but I know that when you guys, get off this webinar, you're going to have like 30 unread emails. Like you need a subject line that's going to stand out. This one is, what the heck is a growth team? Like I doubt that they have ever seen a subject line like that. And that's also like our voice and our tone. Like we're okay saying heck in the subject line. Like some companies might not, but it needs to be something that relates to them and that they really want to act upon. A clear objective up front. As like an email marketer, you want to tell a story, but I think too many times you're like 3/4 through the email and then you haven't even gotten to your point yet. So making sure that like what you're asking of them is there, and so that they know right away, okay, I'm going to continue reading or not. Video, like we use video in almost every email that I send. Obviously, like Dave said, we use Drift for email, and Vidyard has an amazing integration where I'm able to just like add a Vidyard right in there. So it's super easy. But it makes it more personal, gives a little, you guys got a reminder email that was a video of us three, and it's just a nice touch and to show like who's actually sending this email. It's a person. And then the sixth one, which is like kind of a easy one, but like ask for replies. You can't just send out like an email and then not get replies and then expect replies. So having that PS or something just to get them to act on it is really important. So that's kind of the structure of the emails. And then to quickly cover like our copywriting 101, I got this sheet from Dave like my first day, and it said like, what are the 4 U's? And he said that, in every email, you should have at least 3 of these 4 points. It needs to have urgency, needs to be unique, ultra specific, and useful. I think if you read this email, like you can see quickly, okay, urgency. We have a 500 attendee limit. Like that's not a lie. Like we use Zoom and we can only have 500 attendees at a time. But it makes people act fast. And then unique. We're not just talking about marketing and growth. Like we're talking about how we do it at Drift. Ultra specific, kind of the same thing. And then useful, like you open this email because you saw what the heck is a growth team? Well, we're going to give you the answer. So those are kind of 4 things to consider when you're writing emails.
I think so. So one question I just want to answer. Somebody keeps saying go full slides. I'm trying to balance how do I go on mute and talk and go full screen. So just bear with me going back and forth. But I think the other thing is like, I love the 4 you use as a framework because there's so many copywriting like tricks and cheat sheets that you can use. But I love this one because you really just got to pick 1 or 2 that work for you. And so boiling it down to the 4 U's and basically giving yourself 1 point each time you use one of those things has been super helpful. So there's a ton of advice out there. You can take it from whoever you want. We're just giving you kind of one framework that we use that's really simple and anybody can remember it. And it's just a nice reminder for every web page, every landing page, every deck, every email that we try to bake those in there.
Definitely. So now I'm just going to go through a couple examples of some interesting emails that we send that were kind of new when I started here, and I think every company should be doing them. But so this is our blog subscriber auto email. So whenever anyone signs up for a blog, they get this email. And it's, hey, thanks for subscribing. Like, have to complain about something. This is an automated email, but like, I am a real person. Here's a video of me. I want to hear from you. I want to get replies. And like, I come in every morning and I have like 5 to 10 replies of people who saw this email, subscribed to the blog, and are giving me content ideas. So that it's awesome. Like, I'm able to sync up with the content team and have them work off of ideas that people are giving us. And it's a great way, just like as a welcome email. Obviously, it's going to be automated, but let's make it as personal as we can.
I think, and like, to me, what has made this email so successful is like, obviously people know that you can't physically send one-off emails to every single person, but I think it's a technique that we use a lot in copywriting, which is just like acknowledging that something is not right, or like, so in this case, it's hey, I know this is I know this is an automated email, but I'm actually a real person. And so to me, that's like a way to address that up front, saying like, look, I know this isn't real right now, but I am a real person. I did at one point write this email, and now it's coming out to you automated. So I just want to say, hey. And then also when Alex responds, people are like, oh yeah, it is a real person. Like, hey, what's up, Alex? I think that makes a huge difference.
Yeah, definitely making sure you respond to those replies is key. You can't just ask for replies and then not do anything.
One question I will take right now is, Laurie said, like, when you say successful, how are you measuring email success? I think there's all different types of, measures for email success. One of the ones that we look at is replies. But also, like, to me, it doesn't always have to be some like very clear cut and dry metric. Like, we know after a webinar, when we do the follow-up, if Alex tells me she feels like she got a lot of replies, that's always a good indicator. I think sometimes we try to like over engineer the metrics on emails, for example. I mean, obviously we look at open rate and we look at reply rate. Those are the two good ones. So, and yeah, like you just said, you read the blog on replies, and they should be the new metric. That's the one that we're pushing towards as a team, is to really focus on replies.
Totally agree, Laurie. So then another thing that I've seen to be very different is how we handle, we're on a webinar, so I wanted to talk about our follow-up process. At companies that I worked at in the past, you get these webinar leads and you put them into this like content nurture, and you don't really treat them as like personal based on whatever they did, so attended a webinar. And I've created this 4-step webinar flow for attended people. And the first email that I send is like, hey, I was in the audience too. This is my biggest thing that I've learned. The open rate on this is like above 50%, which is crazy. So people like love to see that. And then of course, like you can go to the next one, Dave, but you kind of go through the typical nurture of like, here's some content, here's our podcast. I know you'll be interested in that, depending on whatever webinar they were on, making sure it's pointed towards that. Next email is a case study, but it's not like, hey, I think a lot of case study emails like, this company started us and these are the 3 things that they've seen. Like, this is a tweet from like our customer on how like on the results that they're seeing, generated 1 million pipeline like right away. Like, that's crazy. And it's a tweet. Like, love to see that social proof. And then the 4th one is, you can treat that 4th one however you want it, whether that's book a meeting. For us, it's like attend this overview webinar, because maybe that first webinar that they went to was kind of more broad, like they're not ready to book a meeting. Go to a webinar specifically about Drift, and we'll show you what it can do for your business.
I just want to do a quick PSA, because there's a ton of good questions in chat, but chat makes it hard to mark them and manage them. So like Alec and Stranger H and Safan Kwan, go put those questions in the Q&A box, and then I can manage them at the end and we'll get through them all, because these are great. I want to answer them all. Should I go to the next slide?
Yeah, just one more thing on all of those emails. I don't know if you guys saw, but like every email asks for a reply. Like, again, just like putting that back in there.
And then, to me, that's like a really important thing, like not to gloss over, but like people aren't going to reply just because you sent an email. You have to ask them to do it, right? Just like all good marketing is like, there's got to be a clear call to action. And so in all of these emails that we send at Drift and Alex has been sending, there's one clear thing like, hey, reply here back to me and let me know why, or hey, one quick question, reply back and let me know. You always got to ask. People aren't just going to reply for the sake of replying.
Exactly. And then this is a no-show. People who, registered didn't show up to the webinar. In the past, like the no-show email is just like, oh, sorry, you couldn't make it. Here's the recording. I kind of flipped that on its side a couple of weeks ago. And I instead like sent these 2 emails coming from the account owner. We're able to do that in Drift, which is awesome, because, you can give the sales reps all these templates, but you're never really sure, like if they're using them. Obviously we have a really great sales team, so they use them, but sometimes they don't. And you're able to actually put in their calendar too. So me as a marketer, like I know that these people are getting followed up with because I'm sending it, but it comes from them. So if they reply, it goes right to the sales rep. But that's kind of a side thing. For this no-show follow-up, I don't give the recording to the last email because on that first email, it's like, hey, I know you wanted to go to this webinar. You must have questions. Like, let me help you like right now, real time. Like I can help you out and give you a personalized look at whatever you're hoping to see. And that they get tons of replies on that first one. And sometimes
it's also nice because like you're not trying to jam everything. You don't always have to jam everything into one email. Like I think it's okay to have a drip sequence kind of built out. And I think you do a good job of that with not trying to stuff everything. Hey, reply here, get a demo from sales. Here's a link to the recording. Can you tweet this? Like it's okay to space them out over time.
Yeah, totally. So that's the end. I just wanted to show you guys like some great results that I've seen from asking for replies. You go to the next slide. This was an email that I sent. It was actually on that blog post that I wrote about the importance of replies, but I asked in it like, oh, this is my first blog. Let me know what other kind of content you want. This lady like responded, so happy that I wrote this content. She's been trying to like push this to upper management for a while. And then she even gives me some ideas. Like she wants to learn more about quantifying the value of responses. Awesome. Like I'm going to write a blog about that now. And then I responded to her in like, I'd say 20 minutes. So not like a really insane follow-up, but look at the next email that she sent. Wow, this is by far the speediest reply. The single reply has me even more convinced about your product's power. Your fan for life. That's like how she signs it.
Yeah, this is why like I love this, and this is why I get mad when not mad, but like when people want to go so much into like, well, what's the ROI on this? What's the value? It's like you just had a conversation with somebody who's interested in our business. Like I don't know how to quantify that, but this is everything that we're about, and I think that have an actual conversation with somebody is worth so much more than just having them click a link in your email. And so this is going to get, Alex to have a real conversation with somebody that we're working with. This is going to get that person to say, hey, I kind of like the team at Drift. Like they are real people. I'm actually talking to the person that's emailing me versus no reply at. So I think it can be hard to like specifically quantify the value of this, but I can't come up with a good reason for why Alex shouldn't spend time in her day actually responding to these people.
Right. I have a fan for life now. So great.
All right. That was awesome. So I know there's a ton of questions for Alex. I promise I got them all. We'll do them all at the end and we'll go back and forth between Alex and Sarah. Speaking of Sarah, it's probably been hard to be so quiet this whole time, but my friend, we're going to kick it over to you and you're going to talk about the chat and bot piece of Drift. Alex just talked about email. So get your notebooks out because I know this is a session that a lot of people want. They want to know all Sarah's secrets. So here we go, Sarah. I'm kicking it over.
Okay. Hey, I'm Sarah.
Hey.
Running Drift at Drift. Just reminding you all if you weren't here in the beginning. So biggest thing is honestly, where should you start? The first thing I did when I started running Drift at Drift was I looked at how many people were starting or how much traffic was going to our top 10 pages on our website. If we didn't have a bot there, I put a bot there. So first thing I did was put a bot on our homepage because believe it or not, we didn't have one there. It was insane.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, thanks, Dave. Appreciate it.
But I think so you just glossed over something which is really important, which is like really easy place to figure out where to start is just go into Google Analytics, go to site content and filter by the top pages on your website. And you'll just really quickly say, hey, what are the top 5, 10, 20 pages on my site? And you can start to narrow it down, like where you're going to have the most success with the bot. I think the big mistake that people make is just they try to do one bot for everywhere. And I think what you did a good job of is like looking at the spread of traffic and focusing on those pages. Because I think for most websites, it's kind of going to be an 80-20 thing where 80% of the traffic is on 20% of the pages. And that's what you've kind of isolated.
Yeah, so the 3 big ones that we have, go back to the first one, sorry, the previous one. So pricing page, homepage, and blog. Those are like the top 3. Just put a custom bot there. So figuring out the right plan for your business doesn't have to be hard or scary. Want some help? Like you're on our pricing page. We want to help you figure out what plan you want to use. Welcome to Drift. Do you have any questions about us or conversational marketing? On our homepage, we want to start the conversation about us and or conversational marketing. And then on the blog, we have this custom slider that comes up. It says, we want to be your friend. We use the social proof, like these companies get our best content every week. We'd love for you to join them. Drop your email and you'll get that awesome email from Alex. So that's also a way where we work together. People interact with our bots, they get an email. So yeah, then the next one, this is a little bit more custom. You can trigger a bot with a button. So our Get a Demo bot is the highest converting bot on our website because the intent is so high. You click Get a Demo because you want to get a demo. So we trigger it with a drift link. It's literally, the drift link is Get a Demo. And do you want to use Drift for marketing, sales, or support? What's your email? Drop calendar.
I love this one because this is like, especially if you're on this webinar and you're in the B2B world, like most B2B companies are going to have some type of contact us or request a demo form. And so this is like the easiest place to start with Drift is like, what's one place that we could easily add value today? And so I think if you have that contact us, get a trial, request a demo, swapping that out with the bot, I think that's the place that I love to see people start.
Yeah, definitely. So you have your 4 bots, whatever, running on your site, and it's been a few weeks and you're like, okay, cool. I've seen some success, but what do I do next? So part of our templates that I'm like really trying to get product to change is if someone clicks just browsing in your bot, it'll just get passed off as a bad lead. Cool, thanks for chatting with us. Feel free to check out our website if you have any questions. So another one of the first things that I did when I started running Drift at Drift was add this just browsing net. Where like, yeah, okay, you're just browsing, but you're not going to get off that easy. We're still going to ask you how you got here, why you're here, if we can help you in any way. So do you have any questions about us? Just browsing? Okay, cool. How'd you find yourself on our site today? And we use the kind of language that I saw happening in the bots. So like, I heard about Drift and I was interested in learning more. I just want to test the bot. Happens all the time. I figure you may as well own up to it because we know you're going to do it anyway. And I'm researching conversational marketing platforms. We are in the space of conversational marketing. We want to continue that wording wherever you go on our website. So even if you yeah.
Like what you just walked through to me explains everything about forms versus conversations. Like it's not just a conversion rate thing. If you're thinking about a form versus Drift, it's like, what would be the equivalent of this with a form? Either they fill it out or they don't. Whereas like what Sarah's built here is the option to keep a conversation going. And so if somebody says just browsing, she asks another question. If they say I'm testing, you can keep the conversation going versus just risking somebody completely bounce off your site forever. So to me, it's not always about, is a bot gonna convert higher than a form? That's part of it, but it's also about the art of this conversation.
Yeah, definitely. And then another thing that Dave pushed me to do when I first started also was change up the copy of our bots. So pro tip, fun fact, whatever you want to call it, there are 100 characters you get to play with that come up from the headline.
Write this down. This is like the meta description, like the same way you would sweat a meta description on the landing page. This is what you need to sweat for details from the bot. So we haven't even written about this yet. Sarah's giving it to you here. So it's 100 characters in the bot, right?
Yeah, it's 100 characters. That's the first thing people will see. And that's how we grab people's attention. So yeah, our homepage says, welcome to Drift. Do you have any questions about us? But we also can pull in this information. Thanks for making your way all the way over here from redislabs.com. We can pull in like that UTM source, that original UTM source from where they're coming, default attribute in the Drift product, no configuration need to be done on your end. And it can make a site experience so much more personalized. Like you clicked on our thing from someone else's website and you got here and we can acknowledge that. Welcome. We're pumped to have you.
My favorite one is the riddle by far.
Yeah. This one, do you want to hear a riddle? What's little blue and can generate leads for your team while they sleep? You don't get the answer until you open up the bot.
Love it.
The answer was, it's the bot that can do that. Just in case you were wondering. And then the last bot on that page was just asking if you were checking them out, because that's the bot on our like Drift bot page. So chances are if you're on our Drift bot page, you're checking out our bot. And ours are really conversational and we add that little winky face.
Yeah. I think the other important thing to me is like marketing is all about testing and optimizing and like continuing to get better. And so one mistake that I see people make a lot is they buy Drift and put it on their website and then they're done with it. Whereas like what Sarah has really done on our website is treated it just like she would any other ad campaign, right? If we were running Facebook ads or landing page testing, like you'd always be testing images, headlines, copy. And so you have to be thinking about Drift in the same way. You have to make those incremental changes, and also think about what the copy is. Like, I guarantee you that if we put a message on our website right now with Drift that said, hey, click here and I'll give you $500, the conversation rate would skyrocket. So you have to really think about what's the conversation, what's the text look like, and what's the call to action.
Yeah, totally. And then another thing that I did where the conversion rate is way higher than the other previous bots is adding retargeting bots. So here you can see in the editing interface, you go to do your display conditions, you add the number of site visits is greater than 1. You can find that under website behavior, number of site visits greater than 1. And just, you can't do that with a form where someone's coming back to your site 4 separate times and your form can't be like, hey, you haven't filled me out yet. But our bot can say, hey, nice to see you again. Do you have any more questions? How can we help you? We acknowledge that you've been here before and we want to help you out. And so our pricing page retargeting and our homepage retargeting has like 2% higher conversion than our primary homepage and pricing page bot, because we're making that acknowledgement like, hi, hello, welcome back. And that's another part of your bot can act like an online concierge for your website. It can provide this white glove experience for the people coming onto your site. Even if they haven't identified themselves yet, we know that you've come back again. And that's just something that's really special that you can make your bot do for your website, and it just makes your brand look a little bit better.
I love this. So speaking of like making your brand better and being more conversational, I love this type of stuff that you've started to do, where this to me has nothing about conversion rate or increased conversion. This is about providing like the best experience possible. So talk about the, like, I think you've done a good job of really giving the bot a personality. Jason Hobbs just said, oh my God, my brain just exploded, which I love that. So talk about giving the bot a personality.
Yeah, so my bot has the same personality as me. It's like a little fun.
So Drift, the Drift personality of Drift is Sarah.
Yeah.
Just FYI.
But I have to tone it down a little bit, whatever. But so I have this Easter egg in all of our bots using keywords. Are you a bot? Is this a bot? What are you? Who are you? Because a lot of people will like try and trigger the bot and ask it questions that we haven't put buttons up for. So if someone chats in and says, are you a bot? Our bot responds, why, yes, I am, but I don't like talking about myself. This is about you. So I just added that because I saw so many people chatting and asking that question. I also saw, I know Profitwell / Price Intelligently, shout out to you guys, have a tell me a joke button on your bot. So adding those kinds of things that give your bot a personality is just way more fun, and it leaves your site visitors can leave your website with a better taste in their mouth than if no one had reached out to them at all.
I've never seen a form tell a joke, so I love that. I love that.
So that's one Easter egg that I like to put in our bot. And then we give our bots personalities. So on Marathon Monday, we had Marathon Bot. And on International Women's Day, we had Pink Bot. And on Halloween, we had Franken Bot. So we just like to it's like your bot is like your mascot. It's like your logo. I've seen people tag us on Instagram, pictures of their bot. They give it names. And so we just take that and run with it. So on special occasions, we change our bot, and it's really fun. Our design team here can whip it up super quick. And then we just have a nice, fun, it's another conversation starter because the bot's red, white, and blue for Memorial Day, or it's International Women's Day, or it's Mother's Day, or it's Halloween and we're being spooky or whatever. So it's more fun. It's more a better way to engage people who are coming onto your site. And then failing gracefully is something that we take really seriously here because we're all about conversations. We want you to talk to a human. We don't necessarily want you to never talk to anyone on our site because that's not what we're all about. So I make sure that our bots fail gracefully because I understand that they can't be perfect. I can't add those keyword responses for every single little thing that could ever be written into our chatbot. So I come right out and say it. I'm not sure, I'm only a bot. Let me grab one of my humans for you. And our sales team does chat duty. They're on from like 6, they're on all the time. How I Drift.
Because they know that's where the good deals are at.
Yeah,
that's why they're there.
Exactly. They're just like Netflix and drifting. That's what they say. So this person is looking for a chat feature to add to their website. all this good stuff, like that's a solid lead. But if we just stuck to buttons and wouldn't let this person chat in or wouldn't let the bot fail gracefully, then this person might not be able to talk to a member of our team, even though they're a solid lead and we want to talk to them. So that's what we do to fail gracefully. That's like a default response that we set. If there are no keywords that we've set up, we'll just have this default response. I'm not sure about that. I'm only a bot. Let me grab one of my humans for you and route someone into the conversation. And then, so the image is a little small on the bottom, but I can tell you what happened.
Tell us. This is some pro level. You might need 2 notebooks for this one.
So our product team came up with this sweet new smart filter that's called Sales Engaged. And what that is if a person has booked a meeting with our sales team, has received a sequence from a member of our sales team, or a member of our sales team has sent them an email using the Drift Chrome extension, so they've previously been cookied, they're considered sales engaged. So what I did was created this custom bot specifically for them. I called it the red carpet bot because we were rolling out the red carpet for like our sales engaged contacts. And it just starts off with, it looks like you're chatting with a member of our sales team. That's awesome. I'm not going to bug you because I know that you're here for a reason, and that's to do a few things. So if people are good, I'm like, sweet, enjoy the site. But if they have a question, I configured the bot to, there are buttons like, I need case studies so I can convince my boss to buy Drift. I want to show off the bot for my coworker, or I want to talk to my point of contact right now. So point of contact gets routed to a member of the sales team. We'll drop their calendar, book a meeting. Case studies, we send them our high level case studies, as well as some blog posts to help convince your boss that you need to buy Drift. And for the demo, I put together a really fun one where we use attribute mapping. So we capture their information and use it in other questions. So, hi, what's your name? My name's Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. What company are you with? I'm with Drift, all that good stuff. We can then add into the bot just to make it look a little bit more fun. And then when this got pushed out, Scott from our sales team sent me a screenshot of the bot in action. He was like, this was an awesome way to engage with an active opportunity who I hadn't been able to really get a hold of. But he had a question. I got a notification that he was on the site because I was engaged with him. So I got my Chrome notification that he was there, he was engaging with the bot, and I could make sure that he got his questions answered. So this is just a way to kind of like roll out the red carpet for the people that you specifically want to chat with, because there are those open deals and you want to just lock them down.
Love it. This is, I've seen people, like I've never had this many questions on a webinar, so I can't wait to dive in. I think this is a good sign that we need to create more content around this stuff, and we got to do this webinar more often. So that's what we're going to do. But look, before we get into the Q&A, you can ask Alex and Sarah all the questions on your mind. I want to tell you about the bonus offer. So if you're not already a Drift customer, one thing that we can do for you is we'll unlock LeadBot. So you'll get all the access to everything Sarah showed you for 1 week, 7 days. I think Alex is nodding along. I think that's what we'll do. Normally it starts at $500 a month. We'll unlock it for free so you can play around. You can see everything because we found that if you do that, you're going to get an amazing experience. And I think you're going to want Drift more. So we're happy to do that for a week. If you're on this webinar, Alex will email you right after and you'll reply directly to her. But that's not it. We're also going to hook you up with a free ticket to hypergrowth, which is, we just said, Alex, what? Great bonus. I've never seen a response to an offer like this. So this is amazing. So we're going to do this offer. So LeadBot for a week, you'll get it for 1 week on your website, and you'll get a free ticket to join us at hypergrowth. All you have to do is we're going to flood Alex's inbox with replies. That's okay, Allison. We got your back. All you have to do is, if you don't have a free Drift account, go to drift.com. I know a lot of you do. So if you don't, just saying it anyway, go to drift.com, create a free Drift account. And then Alex is going to email you after this webinar. All you have to do is reply back and say, yes, I'm in. All right. And you'll be good to go. So that's the offer. Make sure you reply. LeadBot for a week, ticket to hypergrowth on us. All right. Let's get to Q&A. I know we all need a drink of water. Jay Crisp says, great job. More of this content, please. Amen. We got to talk to the marketing team after this. We got to do more of this. Okay. We got like 25 minutes left. We'll see how much we can get through right now. Let's see. At Jay Crisp, Sarah, I'm going to put you on the spot with this one. Is the email management driven from Drift, and is it included in the Pro Edition? Well, either of you can answer this. I think the answer is yes and yes.
Yes.
Yes and yes. Okay, we answered that one. Done. Alec, do you have any tips on getting listeners from a podcast on your email list? I'll take this one because it's something that we're working on now. The short answer is no. The frustrating thing about podcasts is you can't just get subscribers over to email. But one thing that we do on the show is we just mention a lot, hey, go to drift.com/seekingwisdom. Hey, email me directly. And so we do push a lot of people to our email list, and we try to give them exclusive content if they get there. So Alex, this one's for you from Rick's. Wonder if this is our buddy over there. Is your follow-up to customers different for webinars?
Yes.
Yes.
It depends on what you're offering. So, if your follow-up is to start Drift, like obviously you don't want to offer that to a customer. Like you have to give either more content surrounding the idea of the webinar, something like that. You don't want to treat them all the same. Yeah.
Okay, another question. I think we already answered this one. Do you write in all your emails that you'd like to hear back from your subscribers? Yes, we do. You got to have a call to action. Let's see. Morgan, do you have any recommendations on how to make email personal and provocative / unique for more regulated industries like financial services? Are you all going to be on mute, so I have to take that one? So the answer is I don't know because I'm not in the financial services industry, but I'll give you my answer to this like kind of default, which is like I think you're still, at the end of the day, you're still marketing to people. And so I don't know what would trigger the difference between a person in a financial services role. It's still a person. So I think you'd maybe be less provocative, but I think the personal approach applies to any industry, any business. I would always be personal. So I hope that helps. All right, Sarah, this one's from you. This question is from Francis. I realize that your bot asks for email from people visiting your site. Do most people give their email?
Yeah, I mean, we got a decent amount of people who give us their email. There are definitely some people who don't want to give us their email, and we understand that. Our email capture question can actually be set up to not receive fake emails. So something that I do is I add a spam filter, and I add like test@example.com and ASD@ASD.com and all that stuff that I've seen people try and use to trip up our bot and give us a fake email, or they say, no, I don't want to give it to you right now. Our bot loops once, like, sorry, I didn't get that. What's your email? And if they still don't want to give us a real one, we're going to be like, that's chill. Like, we're not going to bug you about it.
Yeah.
You can still communicate with us. You can still talk to us. We're still here to answer your questions, but we're not going to poke the bear and try and like force you to give us an email when you honestly don't want to. Something we're playing around with now is wording around it, because right now we have it at the end of a lot of our bot flows. So you kind of nurtured your lead or the person coming onto your site. They've given you enough information about themselves where it's a smaller ask to ask for their email. And now I'm playing around with copy to see how I can move up that question a little bit so we get a little less drop off and a little bit more, hey, just in case we get disconnected, hey, just for our team, just so we can get a little bit more information about you. What is your email?
Yeah.
And as always, like, they don't have to give it to us if they don't want to, and we're not gonna force them.
Yeah. Good answer. Okay. Oh man. Ryan Barry. What's up, Ryan Barry? This is a layup. I don't even want to answer this one, but I'm going to. What system do you use for emailing done in the center through the reps? Drift, baby.
Drift. I'll show you how to do it.
We got to do a better job. We got to do a better job telling people about that. But yeah, we use Drift for all of our email. That's what Alex uses every day. It's awesome. Answer live. Done. Dan. This might be, I hope this isn't Dan Murphy trolling us on our own webinar, but it's Dan. What's an appropriate amount of emails? Alex, I'm going to ask you this one. What's an appropriate amount of emails to send to the same person each week? Does it differ if they're a client versus a prospect? This is something we talk about a lot.
I think that might be my dad, Dan. Hey, Dad.
Oh, hey, Dad.
Hey, Sarah's dad. I think it depends on, the person you're sending it to and also the content. If you're sending emails every day that's like, get drift, like that's not going to work. If someone subscribed to your blog, like, I would argue that you can send them as many emails as new blogs that you have if they're interested. I think at that point, an email preference center would come in handy. Let them pick how many times they want to receive that email.
Yep. All right. Question from Peyton. I'm going to take this one. I always find the scheduled time on my calendar a bit impersonal at best, assumptive and lazy at worst. I'm surprised you use this tactic. Why? What kind of success have you seen? So I think that context is everything. If I just cold email you and said schedule time with me, that's not going to work, right? But if it's somebody that's been on a webinar or been in our funnel or engaged with us somewhere, I think it's totally reasonable to ask to schedule time on my calendar. I think it's all about the context, right? Context is everything. Deborah Fletcher. Oh, this is a good question. Alex, for you, are you able to create the videos you use in your email replies in Drift, or are you filming those videos outside of Drift and importing them in? As of last Monday, the answer changed.
Right in Drift. Yeah.
Right
We
in
had
Drift.
I think I mentioned it before, but we have that integration with Vidyard now. So I literally open up Drift, can record right from there and send it. It's great.
Okay, anonymous attendee. This question is very long. I'm not sure I can answer it with everybody else here. Let me see if I can.
I read it pretty quickly, and it's
Oh, you
basically
got
just
it?
like, can you trigger a bot from an email?
I love you, Sarah. Can you?
Yes.
Ha! Boom.
If you registered for our webinar and you got Alex's email, you then clicked register for this webinar and you got registered from a
Yes.
bot. That's one way that we work together. She literally sent me a webinar bot today that I haven't done yet, but I will do after this webinar.
Good. All right, Amar, shout out to you, Amar. Which tool do you use generally to send your emails? Generally, we use Drift. It's amazing. But you should go, this is why we want to do this webinar, is because I think we have a whole other product that we haven't talked a lot about, which is email. And so Alex is going to be spending a lot more time sharing some of her email tips just for that reason. Rick's back in the mix. Good question. For the homepage bot, Sarah, why would a bot be more valuable than a message that asks if they have any questions? Does it route somewhere specific? Do they have to answer any questions before they get their question answered?
So our homepage bot asks if they have any questions. They say just browsing or I have a question. So immediately we dive right into like, you're here, you probably have questions about us, and you might not want to poke around the site on your own. So let's see if we can answer some questions for you. So it's really low touch. If you're just browsing, you're just browsing. If you have a question, you have a question.
Yeah.
And our questions are like, what is Drift? How can I use Drift? What is conversational marketing? How much does Drift cost? Like all those frequently asked questions that we just want the bot to be able to handle.
Yep. Question from Paul. How can we make a bot more prominent part of the homepage? I found that a lot of visitors don't see it. I want it smack in the middle of my page. So honestly, you can't embed it in your page right now, but I would just add a button. I would have a button that says start a conversation, and that can open a chat right there. Sarah, do you agree?
Yeah, Drift links all the way. If you like are routing people to your home page from like paid ads, anything, add a Drift link to the end. It'll immediately open the bot. It's kind of hard to miss.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to anonymous attendee back again with another question. Do you recommend customizing the bot for every page? Right now, we have the same thing across our website.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. I think it's just a general marketing rule. Like the more personalization you can have, the better. Is there any research? Is there any research data about preference for forums versus bot conversations? Yes. So this is different in every company, every industry. But we did a study last year. And we saw that we had a 20% higher conversion rate from a bot conversation than a forum. But the only real magic answer is that you're going to have to try it on your site. And that's the reason why at Drift we do, we let you do it month to month, and you can cancel whenever you want, because we want you to see success, and we know you're going to see success. So having you actually put Drift up on your website versus your forum is the best way to do it. I'm going to skip a couple of these. What period of time do we test changes? We're always testing changes. We wait until they're statistically significant is the right answer there. Okay, Sarah, don't you think too many bots can get annoying? What if we just want to navigate the site ourselves and don't want to talk to a bot?
Yeah, I mean, I can understand how that's a thing that you don't want to do, and that's totally up to you and your personal preference. You can put a bot on one page, you can put a bot on all of your pages. You might see your conversion rate go up if you have bots on more pages, but you'll also might get that person who's like, I don't want to talk to you anymore. It's helpful for objection handling, so you learn a new skill. And it's also great because I take feedback every day. I sit in our inbox and I see how people are interacting with our bots. And if there's one that's just like going off the deep end, I take a harder look at that and I see where it can improve.
A couple product questions about Office 365. I'm not sure, so I'm going to skip it. But Andy asked, do you have any tips on when to use a drift link versus targeting a specific page? To me, a drift link is a reactive thing. Somebody has to click on it. A bot targeting a specific page is proactive. So it's about going out and getting somebody versus hoping that they come to you. Paul, thank you for this question. Will you share bot templates as a source of inspiration? Yeah, we did. Go to drift.com/inspiration or reallygoodchatbots.com. It goes to the same place. And we actually posted a bunch of templates up there so you can start to get inspired. And that's a library that we're going to keep adding to. Jay Crisp, will we be sending out a recording to the attendees? Heck yes, we will. Alec, selling physical products or real life services seems to be more complex than digital products. Do you have any tips for managing these conversations? I actually love this question because if it's a more complex sale, I would actually use Drift more because you want to provide a better customer experience, right? If it's a more complex sale, a form isn't going to be able to handle it, right? And so you want to be able to have that VIP experience every time somebody comes back to your website. So I would focus more on delivering that personalized experience. And I would only have that red carpet experience Sarah showed if it is a more complex sale. My goodness, I'm out of breath. Eric Bristol, shout out to Wisty in the house. Hey, Sarah and Dave, these tips are great. How many playbooks do you have live at any given time? I have no idea, Sarah. How many?
Right now we have 94 live now on our help center, our blog, our in-app, and our marketing site. You're not going to get all 94 at one time. And we make sure that the targeting is super specific. So our in-app playbooks don't go outside and our outside playbooks don't go inside.
Yeah. Yeah. Alicia says, can we decide when to use the week of LeadBot? I want to strategically implement it. Unfortunately, no, because there's no good way for us to manage that. So we're going to give it to you now for a week and you can try it out. That's the deal. I wish I could answer otherwise. Derek Sather, can you talk to lead scoring and the product roadmap of what is next? Lead scoring, we don't have it yet, but you can do your own version of lead scoring using a bot. Really simple, qualifying conversations that way. I don't have too much I can share about the product roadmap publicly, but we launch something new every single month. So I heard something sweet is coming the first week of June, maybe. Spoiler alert. Let's see. Let's do two more because I'm thirsty. I know Sarah's thirsty. I know Alex is thirsty. Let's see. Do you find success on using your Drift meeting link in your marketing emails for prospects to book meetings? What do you think, Alex?
Yes. I mean, I do it with all of the emails that I send from the customer or from the AEs. So they see a ton of success. I always ask to kind of answer a previous question, like it seems impersonal. I always like my first call to action is respond to me and let's connect. And then it's like, PS, like if it's easier for you to book a time here, here's my calendar.
Love it. Jay Chris, can we get Sarah to review our bot when it goes live? I'm not sure. She is very, very expensive. We'll have to negotiate. We'll have to negotiate something. Yes. Send her a video. She'll send you a video back, I think.
Yeah. We also have Facebook groups where we do live teardowns.
Oh yes.
Of playbooks. So drift on facebook.com/group/conversational marketing. Hey.
Yeah. This is crazy. I've never had this many people stay this long through the Q&A. Anonymous attendee, a lot of anonymous attendee questions today. What tool do you use for other marketing automation, or do you just use Drift? We just use Drift. Honestly, our whole marketing and sales stack is, we use WordPress for our website. We use Drift for bots and email, and we use Salesforce as our CRM. That's how we do all of our marketing today. It's been awesome. How do bots work for a B2B service versus a B2B product? Is it more complex in either scenario? I think this is the same answer as before. I don't think it matters. I think if it's more complex, you're going to want to be there 24/7, right? Somebody wants an internship. Pretty good way to come in and ask for it. I got to find one last one to end on here. How has having no forms in your site been performing? Have you tested any gated content again recently? We haven't. No forms has been performing. We've done it for 2.5 years and we haven't changed back. So I hope that's the short answer to how it's been performing. I don't think we would go back because we run, our entire funnel runs through Drift. So anyway, all right, that's it. We're out of here. Any last words, Alex, Sarah, famous last words as we wrap up? Get ready for your follow-up email.
Yeah, get ready. No, that was fun.
Okay. No, this is a great indicator. I think we got to do more of this content, team, for sure. Let's do it.
All right.
Sarah, say something.
Oh, sorry. I was answering a question via text because it was a good one. So I just wanted to make sure they got an answer.
Yeah. Okay. All right, everybody.
All right,
we'll see you all later.
guys.
Thank you so much. It's a ton of fun. Keep an eye out for your inbox. LeadBot trial plus a ticket to hypergrowth coming from Alex the second she gets off this webinar. So we'll see you soon. All right.
Second.
Bye.
Bye.